Good morning. How we doing out there in Blinded Ecosystem on this fun Friday? So I'm here with Luis, Rob, Gill, Kris, Krohn. We are here with Weber. Is there a window open somewhere or no? Yeah, thank you. So thank you. So good morning to all. It is an interesting morning, and if you want to set the right tone, mood, energy. So what's the point? What's the purpose of discussing this today? Today is about being the they. Which is a phrase I created over the course of being in Tony Robbins' home and then being on the private flight over with the Krohn Foundation, Kris, Rob, and everyone, and just been talking about it while we've been here. And what that looks like and what that means is not leaving it to somebody else. And we're going to talk about what we've experienced already. Because, when you hear about something that's far away, regardless of what you see on the news for a minute, it's a completely different dynamic when you have experienced hundreds of things today already that move the heart. And so I'm going to give a brief recap on a few of them. So this starts with crossing the border. Starts with waking up this morning and being like, holy shit, we're going to be leaving Poland and crossing into the Ukraine, which sounds like something or nothing or whatever it sounds like, but uncertainty was certainly present. And from that moment, as we crossed over and went through leaving the Polish side and then crossing to the Ukraine side, they were like, what pictures do you have on your phone? What's your purpose? Like, what's going on here? And just that moment of uncertainty, like, are we going to actually move over across? And then getting there, and what was a rest stop, if for those that live anywhere near New Jersey and certainly across the country, we have places where drivers stop to rest. And they had something like that constructed for truck drivers at the Ukrainian border. And a gentleman named Wojtek and Marta, who you will meet through videos and hopefully on one of our huddles or sessions in the next number of days. These are folks that were an IT support person and a teacher in Poland. And they decided they would come across the border when this all began, and they'd spend the weekend seeing what humanitarian aid and help they can give. They were not experts in humanitarian aid. They were not wealthy. They did not have influence online. They were two very ordinary Polish citizens who said, you know what, we're going to go do something. And they crossed over, and they did. And 2 days turned into 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 50, 50 to 100. And for 100 days, they've been providing aid and support to people. So two ordinary citizens that decided to provide aid and support have now provided some level of support for 250,000 people crossing from the Ukraine into Poland. And that support has been as simple as a cup of coffee to as complicated as burying a human being that died as they were coming across. People having documentation issues, working with government, providing medical care and support from Band-Aid to defibrillators to try to bring people back to life, and everything in between. And Wojtek and Marta have their 3 children here to a simple act of kindness as Marta's youngest daughter, giving Selena an animal that they now name Purple because they want to give my daughter something to bring back. All that happened already today. We had the incredible dynamic of seeing a mother and a baby crossing from Poland into the Ukraine to be reunited with dad. And the dad seemed like he had been a soldier. We certainly were going to interrupt in that moment, quite possibly having come back from the front lines. And when they would have said goodbye, they had no idea if they were ever going to see each other again. And the emotion, the excitement, the heart that was occurring in that moment, there are no words that could possibly do justice. We heard from somebody that came from outside of Kiev, and they came from outside of Kiev in an area called Bucha, I think it was, where civilians were murdered. Every one of them, their dogs were killed, their homes destroyed, gunfire, tank fire, and the folks that live and survive there had support from major national and international institutions that did a lot of good. And now they've moved on. And there are still thousands of people in the area that are homeless, that are resourceless, that have no place to sleep and have lost every single thing except whatever family photos they had put into the cloud or had on their cell phone. And these are just a few of the moments and things. We had the privilege to deliver supplies directly to them. So whenever we think that, hey, what could we do? And Steph talks about this with her starfish tattoo. Like, what can we do? Well, what we can do is we can provide help and support. When, thanks to Kris and the Krohn Foundation, Luis, who's here, and of course Rob and Nick, Matt and Adam, and all the fine folks that are helping here, Weber, documenting all this to create information and send back home. We gave body armor for the drivers, and Marta burst out crying. We've been waiting. Sorry? Yeah, we've been waiting for this for months. Weeping and saying we've been waiting this for months. So we always think somebody else is going to do it. We always think, hey, my charitable donations, my acts are not going to get there. We personally loaded a truck yesterday, a small act. Kris was on the truck, Rob's on the truck, Luis on the truck, and we're putting sugar and water and other rice and other basic food essentials onto that truck and bringing them in. And that stuff will be gone in a hot second because people are in desperate and enormous need. So right now we're rolling from that beautiful sanctuary for refugees on the border. It's a little calmer there, a lot calmer now than it was when tons of people were there. But the workers we saw who did night shift were sleeping on the floor, just mattresses on the floor as they get ready to do their night shift. And we're heading to Lviv, which has been bombed. Much of life is back to pseudo-normal, as pseudo-normal as it can be, since there was an airstrike 2 days ago looking to take out the roadway. And by the way, these deliveries that are being brought by heroes like the gentleman driving this vehicle have been subject to airstrikes for people who are delivering humanitarian aid to be killed and destroyed, to break the will of the Ukrainian people. And this isn't a spin. This isn't a tale. This isn't a question of this is divisive rhetoric coming from somewhere. These are human beings delivering humanitarian aid that are directly telling the stories from their own eyewitness experiences and from the Ukrainian citizens that they're talking to on the ground. This isn't political spin doctoring from high-ranking government officials with an agenda. This is not institutions talking about aid. These are the human beings experiencing this and living on the ground who a couple months ago were doing just the normal stuff that we're doing every day of their life. So that's what is present, and we're going to get to a checkpoint in a little bit to move further into the Ukraine, and that's what's happening right now. I'm going to ask Kris his thoughts, feelings in a moment. Actually, I'm going to go. Let's go to Kris' sleep because we've been, not getting a bunch of rest. I'm going to go to Rob and Luis, who's a friggin' hero, in a second. But I just want to ask Steph or AG, Fernando, Tink, just what do you got? What's on your heart, and what are you present to? Not in your head, not thinking there's something that you should be saying, but straight up from your heart. What is present for you?
I'll start. What is present for me is your ability to capture and share your experience being a blind man from New Jersey out there and articulating, all the emotion that's present. It's overwhelming and beautiful and sad and scary and all the emotions I could possibly think of in hearing you recount and just explain what's happening. And I don't know if there's anyone in the world that can just so powerfully, demonstrate what you're going through and what they're going through. And just thank you for the truth on the ground.
And here's the reality that I was like, I don't know if you should be doing this. I said it like, in different mediums throughout the last 24 hours. I am so certain we should be here. I cannot overstate that. I am so certain that every one of you should be building your businesses and creating time and financial abundance because the world needs you. I am so clear of Kris's mission, Rob's mission, our mission, the Unblinded ecosystem merging mission, and all of it. I cannot overstate it. And we have to create, we don't have to, we get the choice of creating abundance so we can bring good to the world. And that is what I am a zillion% present to, because people don't have what we have. They don't have access to the learning. They don't have access the same way. They're just not in proximity. And we have to continue to accelerate bringing people into proximity. The impact we had on Wojtek and Martha cannot be overstated, nor can their impact on us cannot be overstated. The merging of ecosystems is alive and present. It's not just words, not just concepts. Nick Marietta, who I didn't know, Kris, influenced to come here to get the project raised. Anybody else want to share who hasn't yet in the team? Fernando, Steph, thing.
I'll just say I'm thinking about, people bursting into tears, receiving supplies, receiving armor. I have like an image in my head. That's probably not what occurred, but it's just an image in my head. And just what that must feel like for them, what that must feel like for you, what that must feel like for people viewing and seeing it, and how it must feel for everyone here listening. Just Craig B. and Bruce just shared right now. And you can hear the emotions, you can hear the thoughtfulness, you can hear the depth of the thinking. I know it's certainly a lot to process, and makes me, be hyper present to some of the things I might take for granted here. So just thank you for the perspective, for the frame, and the Adams points of being the storyteller of that story.
This is why, Fernando, straight up, and Bruce and Craig and everyone, this is why when we go to Grand Cayman, we jump in the water at night. This is why when we go to Grand Cayman, we innovate and we don't just stay comfortable. This is why in Grand Cayman, we went 21 hours in a day. Because when we become strong, we can cause leadership and cause change. When we become strong. And the more we can step into our self-mastery and drive our fears of rejection and failure away, we can call people and talk to them. Kris can call me up and say, hey, Sean, it's going to be, $100 grand. Rob's going to be $100 grand. You guys ready to rock and roll? And we're going to cause $1 million. And where he's able to say that because he's strong in his self-mastery. And the more we cause that in each other, and we cause more people to be that in the world, and Kris didn't guilt me, Kris didn't pressure me. Kris talked to a whole bunch of people. Most couldn't do it or wouldn't do it, and it's okay. But Kris is able to cause this because his self-mastery is strong. And that's why we do the things that are uncomfortable. It's why we went, this is straight up why we went into the water at Rackham. This is straight up why we went into the water at Makabuka. Because I know what danger is and isn't really. And I've trained my nervous system to know that. And I'll tell you what, my nervous system is shaken up being here. There's people here who train their nervous system even more powerfully than me to say we're going to be fine. Even though there's an airstrike that came in Lviv close by, we're going to be fine. And when we go to Kiev, which we're going to Kiev, right? They know we're fine. And I know we're fine. 99.99%. And when we train our nervous system this way, we can build our business. We can confront when people are not doing their part, and we can do it in love and empathy. And that's what this is all about. Not the only thing it's about, but of course what it is all about is how do we cause good in the world, and how are we strong enough to do it? How are we strong enough not to hide behind social media and post something criticizing someone else? I'm going to tell you right now, the germ is here. The inspiration is born to do a new 90-day challenge coming up soon. Not yet. And it's going to be the Be the They challenge. And all the dynamics will be announced, but they're going to include not criticizing anyone at any moment during your day, for me included, for 90 days. And instead channeling all the energy to do good and not to criticize and make anybody wrong. And what if 300 million Americans and what if 8 billion people in the world for 90 days weren't criticizing other people? And instead, we're taking stock of their day, their calendar, their time, their causing of good for their business, for their family, for their life, for this ecosystem and the world. And what if that's what we all did? Not happening yet. It's going to be 15 to 30 days away until we actually formally launch it. But I am crystal clear and inspired that that's what needs to happen next. So, Steph, what's on your heart?
One,
Me or Steph's on? Adam.
it's me. Can you guys not hear me? Hello? Hello?
We hear you, Steph.
Yes, we got you.
I hear you.
Yep. Present for me, if I said, that I wasn't still scared, I would be lying. I'm definitely, scared. But I do know that you'll be fine. I know that everybody there will be fine. I know that you guys all be coming home. So I know that, but I'm still scared. And as you were talking and sharing, I was just thinking about, I've never met anyone as strong as you, that is strong mentally, strong physically, that is, willing to do all the things. I remember the story that you tell about the woman in the ocean that was freaking out, and you basically saved her life, just telling her to stop and taking control of the situation because you're strong. And so I'm really super proud of you and proud of everyone, and just I admire your strength, and I've never met anyone just as strong and as courageous as you. And I think the other thing that is present for me is what can we do here, because all 75 of us, 76 of us on this call right now, aren't jumping on a plane to take supplies to Ukraine. That's not something we can do in this very moment. So I guess what is also present for me is what can we do, on this side. So that's what's present for me.
Yeah.
You know what? Can I answer that real quick,
Thanks.
Sean? I know what we can do.
I'm gonna kick it to Rob, and then you, Adam. I want Rob to share right now, real quick.
Hey guys, just listening from what Sean was just sharing, and I want to share. And this is for somebody that's like me, that doesn't want to scuba dive for whatever his fear or her fear is, or doesn't want to jump out of a plane, but will jump on a plane to go behind enemy lines in a war zone. That's who I am, right? So you don't have to do one, not to do the other. Is my point. The Epic team this morning, when I speak to them and when they ask what they could do, I tell them what they could do is sell their strategies, share all their information with people so they can save them educationally from money disasters. And while Sean is here carrying the Unblinded message, I guess the biggest thing all you folks could do would be to really get all those packages out and get all the finals with Fernando and all the other stuff and everything else, because that's the way you build a business, and then the business allows you to come make change around the world. So that's what's present to me right now. As we're about to go to a checkpoint, I'm going to turn it back to Sean real quick, but that's what I wanted to share with you guys.
Amen to that, brother. AG, what do you got? Thank you, Rob, and I couldn't agree more on my heart, and I love all you. Adam.
I agree with Rob. I was going to say we need to sell. We need to build our businesses to get the free time. That landed when you said that like a lightning bolt, Sean. Just all of us here, the more we do for our business, for each other, the more we're going to be able to get the freedom, the time freedom to be able to do that with you and more of that all over the world.
And the world needs us. These are incredible people, but they were inspired today. They were infused. As they infused us, we infused them with energy. We inspired a little girl to give up her stuffed animal. I didn't even talk to her about having a daughter. I just, Marcus, you have children. And, 15, 20 minutes later, she's bringing an animal to me, one of her stuffed animals, this little girl. These are not wealthy people. And Steph, thank you for all my honey roasted cashews that you packed. And I gave them a giant bag of honey roasted cashews. And, you know, the Martha was like, no, not necessary, not necessary. I'm like, absolutely. I'm like, as long as it's okay with you, I'd love to have the honor of giving this to your children. And maybe God was watching because I was trying to find a big bag of the candy. I couldn't that quick. The cashews came out first. That was a healthier option to give them just some pure fun energy. So, Steph, thank you for packing everything and doing the things. And you are doing the things, Steph, by running the group calls, by being on the Real Raw, and all y'all are doing it. And I couldn't be more grateful. Tink, what's on your heart as we get to round this thing home? And I couldn't be more grateful for everything you're doing, Tink. You know, about to edit documents, making sure things are getting driven and getting up online and all the stuff as well. So, Tink, what's on your heart?
On my heart is that you're running into the places in the world that just 2 days ago, like you said, were aerated and the rest of the world is running out of. And one could easily say that it's insane that you're doing this because you don't have the training. But it's also just as easy to say that you do have the training and so much more, because what kind of training you have that you give us is exactly what you need when you're going into places like that. And it helps people in ways beyond medical supplies, in the realms of their mind and the darkest places that they're fighting right now that no one else would be able to help them with. And beyond the medical supplies, are saving lives in just so many different ways. And every day you just continue to redefine courage, honor, fearlessness, generosity, love, so many other things. And I couldn't be more grateful to support in any single way possible. Thank you.
And thank you, Tink. And listen, one thing I want to lovingly confront is, you know, I've been away, you know, a little bit here. We had the Grand Cayman. We had a few less people on this huddle this morning. Let's make sure Unblinded team, everybody in the ecosystem, that you contact everybody else in Elite, in Mastery. And tomorrow, let's have, and everybody, Cal, you all, Tanya, on the huddle tomorrow. And let's be 150 to 200 people strong on the huddle, talking this message. You know, Rob, I propose having the Epic team on. So we can
Tomorrow's
deliver
Saturday,
a unified message, and let's get everybody here. Oh, on Monday. So let's across the weekend, let's make sure we have everybody here, because we might be coming from Kiev on Monday morning. So let's have the capital of Ukraine that was bombed, attacked, and for their freedom fought back the invading forces, fought them back to retake their capital. And we may very well be in the capital on Monday. So let's get everyone here on a Monday morning. Like, that's my request. That's what we can do, is get everyone here. Everyone. So take your ecosystem, let's get them here, and let's stand united, not against something, but for something, for galvanization and causing of leadership. That's what I'm present to. And by the way, this shit is fun. Like, what if it could be fun to step up in leadership? What if it could be fun to say with your maker, you know what? If, you know, this happened to be my time, then so be it. Because I would have left this world complete and full and doing everything I believe in my heart, my soul, and integrity was right to be doing my business for the world and even for my family. Because if this was what it was, then I am very confident my children would be inspired appropriately, because I pre-framed what's happening here. So what if, and I ain't telling anybody to be here, but I am telling you to build your business and get to that place. And I'm not telling you to wait until your business is all built to do good things. But we all know what zone action looks like. We all know what the 90-day challenge looks like. I am telling you to build your platform. I am telling you to be in zone action. I am telling you to have your shared experiences. I am telling you to love and to give and to refuse to criticize or judge. Assess behavior and take action. 99% of the time be in zone action, 1% be in ECD time and assessing time. Criticism and judgment, assess behavior, say, I don't want to do that, I want to do this. But if you find yourself talking about problems, talking about people, talking about them or they, you know you're not in zone action. Let's go do the things. I love all of you. It's an honor and privilege to represent here, and I'm just a small representation of you. So you are here through me. You are here through Rob. You are here through everyone. And that's what's happening. And Luis, I just want to ask you for a quick 20-second final. This is the brother who is our leader on this trip. He's our mission commander. And Luis, what's on your heart, brother, in 30 seconds or so for this ecosystem?
Sean, thank you so much for bringing this awareness. And what I'd like to say as the director of the Krohn Breakthrough Foundation is that our mission is very purposeful on creating direct impact in the short term, and that's what we're doing now. But we need to and will provide long-term value add. And that is where I would ask or say, this is where Sean and you guys can come in, is we're not just here for a one-time injection and then out and never come back or never help again. And so what we're doing, the body armor is a quick story. If I could summarize it, is it's non-existent to get it here in Ukraine or in Poland. And for us to buy it in the US and bring it here was very simple. And it brought Botek and his wife Martha to tears, because their driver, who they sent to the front lines to deliver food to people, was in danger multiple times. So that small act of kindness made such a world of difference. And I hope everyone here can leverage their resources. And thank you so much, Sean, for what you do and being the brave soul to come out here and be that person that leads from the front.
Thank you, brother. And I want to kick it to, and Luis has been a hero. He's so articulate, so humble, so efficient. I'm thrilled to get to know him, and thrilled that he's with Kris Krohn, the Breakthrough Foundation. I'm going to kick it to Kris, the one and only. Here you go, brother.
Hey, everybody. Kris here. I am sitting right next to Harvey Graham Green, works at Amazon in New York, and when people were stuck behind enemy lines in Afghanistan, when Biden pulled out inappropriately and left thousands of people behind, this man rose up and organized a group of people and has participated in pulling out nearly 4,000 people from that area and territory. Just sitting here with him as we're driving through the Ukraine countryside and getting his full background and story, he is the they that Sean is talking about. He is the they. And, if you were to ask him, hey, who's come after you that's still going to carry the banner if you stop, those people don't always show up, which means we are the they. And now here he is in Ukraine. And I asked him, I said, well, when do you got to go back to work? He said, I got to get back to work by the 10th so I don't lose my job. And I'm like, how are you running this 501(c)(3) keeping people all the time in country, running all these missions? It's amazing. Like they're running the body armor that we purchased and the medical supplies. They'll bring them to the front line. They'll bring bodies back, people that need to get places safely and securely. It's just absolutely inspiring to be shoulder to shoulder. And so, Sean's been asked, why is he here? I've been asked, why am I doing this? And the truth is, this is a decision that I made years ago. In fact, the whole game plan of building wealth and building influence is to bring people together and to cause leadership the way Sean talks about. And so this was inevitable. And when this humanitarian crisis came forward and Luis, my director for our foundation, gave me this opportunity, my heart said yes. And that's why we're here. And this is why we're doing this. You're all part of something so special that Sean has organized. And if I were to leave you with the final thought, it's that you need to use these superpowers of influence so that you can grow, that you can succeed, that you can experience prosperity and abundance, because eventually your time is going to come forth to be the they at a higher level, not to stroke a check, not to share a contact, but to be in country somewhere else making a difference. Why? Because a life that is driven solely by significance will be left wanting in the end, but a life that is built on contribution is one where you'll be able to look back from above and smile.
My brother was dancing. My brother was dancing for you.
Final is love you all. I do want to honor Tony Robbins and just say I couldn't be more thankful, because without Tony, I don't know Kris. And this has been nothing short of extraordinary. And this is what Lever 6 is. My brothers and sisters out there, this is what Lever 6 is: contribution. So let's go do the things. Take a deep breath, breathe it in, put your feet back on the ground, and go have an extraordinary day. Making magic happen. And if we can confront this, and these heroes in the front lines can confront saving their nation and dying for it, we all can confront the next business call. Let's go make it happen. Love you. Have a great day.